The need for shelter for refugees in Djibouti is quite great actually right now. We are entering the cold period of the year, and what that means climatically is there's a lot of wind coming in, and it's a very rough time for the refugees. It's quite cold in the evening, and the shelters aren't actually lasting all that long.
There are many problems in this campus, especially about shelters. Especially tents have been given so long years before. You can see that many of the tents have been distorted nowadays. Tents have been given around maybe 10 years before, 5 years before. Some of the people have taken long years before. They are using their own clothes nowadays, especially.
When you're in Aliyade refugee camp, you see a lot of shelters, either the plastic sheeting that has already been provided, which is quite worn and torn, or makeshift shelters made of sticks and old clothes, which the refugees are using right now to build their own shelters.
From here you can see that it's built from firewood that they are getting out there on the hills, and you can see a little bit of cement that they are getting, I think.
Mud,
yeah. So and this is the stuff we get from the women. So the women are bringing this.
The twine.
Right now we have a constant flux of new arrivals coming in, and unfortunately we don't have enough plastic sheeting or tents to provide to those new arrivals.
With the refugees coming, particularly with women and children, if they don't have a roof of some sort over their heads, anything is possible.
It's important that the women have a sense of security, and the shelter can actually provide an immense amount of security for the women. If the women have no shelter in which to sleep, quite often they could be subject to increased risks of sexual gender-based violence or sexual exploitation. So it's very important, especially for the women and young girls and also children, that they have access to shelter.
We need 2,600 tents to help us to manage and provide shelter for the families who would arrive from Mogadishu and from the surrounding areas of South Central Somalia.
Those tents which we would be able to provide for new arrivals from South Central Somalia would be critical to provide shelter for those new arrivals, and would also help us to ensure that those who have been in the camp in this protracted situation would have access to shelter.
maxaanu sameyn karnaa inagu qada qaxootiyan oo miskiin aanu nahay dhulkeenina ma joogno dhibaataan uga soo barakaacnay hadda waxaan sameyn ma garanayno kulli wixii Ilaahay noo qadaray baan sugaynaa anagu.
They're very, very appreciative of having tents. Those that have tents try to lead a normal life.